All right. As promised, I am going to do a video on how to get ahead when you're in the military. Welcome to the Manly Cave Show, episode 4. That's right, episode 4. Anyway, let's get on with the show and go ahead and smash that like button right down there and go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate that. And once you do that, more people will be able to see these videos and it will help them. So if you're thinking about joining the U.S. military, do it. Don't think twice. Do it. It was one of the best things I ever did in my entire life. I joined at age 19. Okay? So before I joined, though, if you're still in high school and you're watching this or something like that, I would highly suggest you join like the U.S. Naval Sea Cadets or ROJTC, I believe, ROTC. So that way, when you get in the military, if they still have those programs available, because what I did was I was a Sea Cadet, U.S. Naval Sea Cadet, which they consider part of the Navy family back in the day. I'm sure they still consider that now. What you do is, when you join the military, like when I joined the U.S. Navy, I started as an E3, not as an E1, right out of boot camp. So that gives me 2 ranks ahead of my peers, and guess what? I'm getting paid more too, and that's important, especially when you're not making a lot of money in the military as it is. So I was in the Navy. I joined in 1996, and I did 3 years under what's called the Striker program. Now the Striker program is what's called undesignated. So I came in the Navy undesignated. I wasn't the best at the ASVAB. I'm not that good at math. Who is, right? So I kind of struggle with some of those formulas there. So I was able to still get what I want. And here I'm going to reveal those secrets. But first, do me a favor and smash that like button so you can hear these secrets. I'm not going to go on until you do it. Smash it, baby, smash it. Anyway. So when I was in the Navy, I came in undesignated. So you take the ASVAB and they say, okay, here are the jobs that you qualify for. So some folks qualify for electricians, electronics technicians, sonar tech. You know, you could be a quartermaster, which is up, I forgot what that job does. I think they help steer the ship, so on and so forth. They're up on the bridge in the Navy, and the bridge is where the main controls of the ship are, and you can steer the ship and all that cool stuff. Or you can, you can be in the engineering department like I was. You could be a firefighter or a hull tech, which is called damage control. You could be a HT, hull technician, where you're welding, so on and so forth. Really cool stuff. So anyway, so I got in. I wanted to become a firefighter. I had taken a local firefighter class, test where I lived, and I wanted to be a firefighter, and I didn't quite do well on that test. So naturally, I said, well, I was a Sea Cadet, and I'm just going to join the military. So I took the ASVAB, and I got in, but my score was not that high to be a firefighter. But I'm going to tell you what I did here. Pretty good stuff. God bless me with some good stuff. So what happened was I took it and then I went to boot camp. I graduated boot camp. By the way, the U.S. Navy boot camp is 8 weeks long. It's up in Great Lakes. And I highly suggest you don't go in the winter. I went in January, and man, oh man, our hands were blue. Our face was probably blue too, because that wind, when it whips through those Great Lakes, it whips all around, and it is so freaking cold, it's not funny. So you want to march in the snow, talking about waiting to get gloves, because we had to wait basically to get the gloves. They didn't have, some got gloves, some didn't. I was one of the ones that didn't get gloves. I had to wait for a while. There's some good things about the winter too, like for example, and I don't know if this is guaranteed to happen. I'm not going to talk about that part. But anyway, there's some good things where it does snow and it is peaceful outside, but you're in boot camp, so you're not having too much peace But if you want to join the Navy anyway, boot camp 8 weeks long. Air Force, I believe they're still 6 weeks long. My dad was in the Air Force. He served in the Air Force a long time ago. My grandfather served in the U.S. Army, one in World War I and one in World War II. So I had military in my blood. Very cool. I'm not sure about the Army. It might be 8 to 12 weeks long. In the Marines, I'm not sure. The Coast Guard, I have no idea. It might be 8 weeks long as well. But the Coast Guard, or excuse me, the Marines, don't get those guys confused. Piss them off. The Marines, so you can come to San Diego. They have the recruit, what is it called? MCRD, Marine Corps Recruit something. Excuse me, Marines, if you want to join the Marines or you're watching a Marine, I don't know. I've got some Marine friends, by the way, really great people. Marines and Navy get along pretty darn well. Some of us do, some of us don't, but I happen to get along very well with the Marines. And then they've got, I think is it Paris Island? Correct me if I'm wrong there, where they also have, and I think that's in North Carolina, for Marine boot camp. Anyway, the Navy boot camp, Great Lakes, they used to have 3 places for the Navy. One was Florida, one was San Diego, and one still is Great Lakes. They consolidated it. So what happened was they put me in San Diego in the after boot camp. But the San Diego boot camp was open, so I went to Great Lakes, and to me, I'm like, that makes no sense. You're putting me in San Diego, but you're putting me in Great Lakes. I should have just gone to boot camp in San Diego, but what was going on was they were consolidating the boot camp in San Diego and trying to get out as many people as they could to close that base down. Now it's called Liberty Station. It's a great place to go if you ever go there. A lot of stores, a lot of stuff, a lot of shopping going on there, so on and so forth. Anyway, that's the old Liberty Station, is the old boot camp there. So 8 weeks boot camp, Great Lakes, cold. You get out and then you do your rate. A lot of people go to C school, which I can't remember what the C stands for, but I went to engineering school, which was 3 weeks long. We learned about the ship, we learned what to do, so on and so forth. And then after that, after I got for 3 weeks, the C schools are longer. Some last months, depending on your rate. But for me, I did 3 weeks engineering school up in Great Lakes again, which is cool because then we got to go out in town into Chicago. And I remember going to Chicago with my grandmother. And again, in the winter, the Windy City, they call that place the Windy City for a reason. I remember, literally, the snot on my nose was like frozen. If there was spit coming out of my mouth, boom, frozen. Excuse me, that place is freaking cold. Anyway, well, some people like that. You know, nothing wrong with that. It's just very cold. Something that, you know, me being, no thanks. Anyway, so after that, I came out to San Diego. I was on what's called the USS Kitty Hawk, CV Carrier Vessel 63. She was the last non-nuclear powered carrier in the United States Navy, and that ship helped me big time. So I got on there. We go to the repair division, and I'm going to get into what that is in a second. And the Master Chief ICAM, if you're listening, I hope you're still alive. God bless you. You helped me a lot. He says to all of us, what do you want to be? And I told him, I want to be a damage controlman, a firefighter. And he goes, great, we have room for you up at the DCPO shop, which is freaking awesome. I got what I wanted. So I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. God bless me, right? So then my friend, what do you want to be? I want to be an interior communications electrician. All right, done. You go there. What do you want to be? I want to be this. I want to be that. Everybody got what they wanted. It was great. It was a great, great thing. What a blessing, right? So then I'm doing that, and I'm doing firefighter maintenance. It was great. I was part of the hose team. I got qualified as nozzleman. I got qualified to do what's called PMS, primary maintenance system. I'm not sure if they call that still or there's another name. And so we did maintenance on the hoses. You know, you have to get because on the ship, what happens? You have to get all the corrosion off of the hoses, and you have to replace them with gaskets. because believe me, there is a lot of corrosion. I remember that corrosion to this day. It turns like a blue before it really started corroding even worse. So we have to take these metal wire brushes and we've got to clean the freaking corrosion off of the firefighter equipment. Is interesting. But then the cool thing about it is during drills, because we had a lot of drills, because you're on a ship, right? And if you don't put that fire out on the ship, you're going down, man, if that ship sinks. So everybody basically on a ship, the neat thing about being on a ship is everybody has to get firefighter qualified, damage control qualified, to have nozzle teams and hose teams, so on and so forth. But we, being in repair division, okay, that was the whole division, where also there are hull technicians, which is the guys who weld, they pipe, they put a pipe up for, you know, if there's gas pipes or water pipes, so on and so forth, they weld, they put these pipes together. Really cool. Those are also part of the repair division firefighter. So I was on what's called the flying squad. And the flying squad, what we did is when there was drills or any fires, boom, flying squad, we're flying there. I mean, we're like running and we're donning our ensemble, our freaking firefighter gear, our helmet, our mask. They had, you know, in the Navy, what's really cool, I don't know if they still have this, but they had this big thing that goes over your chest here. And you have an oxygen, and I can't remember the name of it because it's been a long time. But they have this oxygen thing. You put it, you take the tab off, you pull the tab back, you pop that thing down, and you do, there was something, if I remember, there was like a thing that came out, and you lock it into place, and now you have your oxygen coming through that mask. That's how they did it. They didn't do it with tanks. Some had tanks, very few back then. But it's coming to me. What's the name of the word? Oh, help me out here, Navy guys and gals. Anyway, that was like our egress gear, I think it was called, if I remember correctly, back in the day. And that was a lot of fun. And then we had, you know, I remember we used to take these huge freaking, one of the responsibilities of a firefighter as well is making sure the equipment is secure. Like these big oxygen tanks, you ever drive by a truck and you see these huge oxygen tanks like this, or chemical tanks like this? We had to make sure that those got secured where we were in damage control shop. So it was so crazy, I can't believe we did this. We put these chains around these big tanks, and the guy was down in the deck below us, or even I was up there. We had to make sure that that big chain, that big thing of oxygen came down, or that big chemical that had the chemicals in it, that came down all the way down, and we secured it and locked it in place. Because that ship, when that ship rocks, boys and girls, that thing freaking rocks, and you don't want anything, especially anything explosive, falling down. That is not a good freaking day. Okay? So we have to make sure things are locked down. Very tight on Navy ships. Because especially the small, they call them small boys, the small ships like the destroyers and whatever, the cruisers, when those things go through the water, imagine a typhoon, you're going like this. We went through a typhoon in South Korea, right? And I remember, literally, I was looking, and the deck was like this. I don't know if you can see my hand there, but it was like this. And I remember walking, and I was like, what the heck? I'm walking like this through a typhoon. So it's very important that if you join the Navy, that you lock stuff down. Because if you don't, you could be endangering people's lives, and endangering yourself, and endangering that ship. And believe me, that ship's all you got when you're in the middle of the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean or wherever you are. And if that ship goes down, you're going down with it. It's just like no joke. So everybody has to act as a team. You have to act professional. You have to act disciplined. And even if you don't like your bunk mate or whatever, everyone pulls their stuff together, per se, when a real emergency happens. Like, for example, unfortunately, I remember we were in, oh, that sucked. I'm not going to say all the details here, but we had a situation where it's called man overboard. And man overboard is somebody fell overboard in the freaking ocean, okay? So they were calling man overboard, man overboard. And so when they do that, everyone has to look for this guy or girl who fell over. They do what's called a muster, an attendance list, right? So you're looking in places, nooks and crannies of the ship for this person to see where this guy or girl is. Hopefully they didn't fall over. Because if they can't find you, they call man overboard. So you better show up. When they call your attendance, it is imperative to be showing up. Because if they don't, they get all ship's company have to be accounted for. Because we're all one team, right, on that ship. Very, very important. Very important. And even if you don't like the Navy, and you complain a lot like I did in the Navy. I like the Navy, but I complained a lot. But some of you sailors out there who are going to join might not like it that much. Remember, you're still part of that team. You still got to be disciplined. You got to take care of your buddies. You got to take care of your shipmates. Anyway, getting a little off track here. Little Navy history, cool stuff going on here. So, I got into damage control, right? And then what I decided was, I said to myself, you know, I don't know, because Navy has programs where you can, the military actually has programs, I think it's all branches where you can retire after 20 years. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do 20 years. But if I get out before I do 20 years, I want to get into something where I don't have to go to college and study to get a degree. I just want to go work. That's just the way I was. I just wanted to work. I was like a workaholic. I love to work hard, right? So I started going to my friend Mike. And Mike, if you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. I started going to his shop, which was Aft IC. Aft is the back of the ship. Forward, obviously, is the forward of the ship. Okay? Then you got starboard and you got port. Starboard is the right side of the ship. Port is the left side of the ship. I better be right on that one. So anyway, I went back to Aft IC, Aft IC Interior Communication Shop, and I would do what's called OJT, which stands for On the Job Training, with these guys doing telecom. Now you're starting to see a telecom career come together, right? From some previous videos that I had shot, if you watched them. In episode 3, I talked about some stuff about telecom. Anyway, so I did telecom, and from studying and doing telecom, I was like, what do you guys need? I'll do anything you want. So they were like, go ahead and fix these what's called sound-powered phones. Isn't that cool? Sound-powered phones. I'm not going to tell you how that works, but it is cool. Look it up. It'll be something for you to get interested in, because if you do join the Navy, you gotta communicate through sound-powered things, not electric-powered things. Some are electric, but there's a lot of sound-powered things going on there. Anyway, so I went ahead and soldered the sound-powered phone, so on and so forth, make sure they work, good to go. Then eventually we had a meeting, and because I came in as a striker, I wasn't designated. Remember that. I came in undesignated as a striker. I was able to do this. I talked to my career counselor first and foremost. I went and did on-the-job training with Interior Communications Shop and Aft IC. They had a big division. They had a meeting of the repair division and the electrical division. I was currently part of the repair division doing damage control, but I wanted to be in the electrical division doing interior communications, telecom stuff. They had a meeting, and one of the lieutenants said to me, big guy, and he goes, Jay, what if we don't give you what you want? What if we don't do that? And I'm like, sir, I don't believe in giving up until I get what I want. And they're like, oh. So it kind of perplexed them. We're like, whoa. So, he kind of stood in awe there, like, you can't believe you talked to me that way. But anyway, I'm sure he got over it. So then they were like, all right, Jay, you can go out and leave. And go outside, we're going to have this discussion. So I'm like, oh, great, I might have screwed myself on this one. So they had this meeting. My career counselor came out. They said, go ahead and finish your PMS, remember, primary maintenance system. Finish that and get out. And I was like, yes, thank you, God. I got what I needed again. God blessed me again. Because I got in, wanted firefighting. Now I got in again, interior communications. So I'm not going to jump anymore from that point. Started learning telecom. And then all the guys in the repair division were like, oh, we want to do what Jay wants. And the Master Chief said, no one else is leaving. No one is leaving. No one's getting out of here. Thank you, God. Appreciate the hookup. Anyway, so that's one way to get what you want if you become undesignated in the military. First of all, I'm going to say pray to God and ask God to help you, because it's very important. If I didn't pray to God, I would not have gotten what I wanted. I strongly believe through that prayer that God blessed me through that. So if you don't believe in God, start believing. He's very, very real. Many encounters in my life of prayers just coming through over and over again. And if you know me personally, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get too much into things like that. If you want to watch video in the introduction about this Manly Cave Show, I am going to talk about God in this Manly Cave Show. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. You know, just keep listening, and hopefully you'll learn about God, that God is real. And I will stand on that. God is real. End of story. Anyway, so let's move on here. So then I was able to do, in the Navy Interior Communications, I decided to get out. They were like, the Kitty Hawk was going to Yokosuka, Japan, right? Which is a beautiful place, don't get me wrong. But Yokosuka, Japan is so expensive, and it's not exactly where you want to get out. So it was very hard to save money there. So I went from San Diego to Yokosuka, Japan. And they asked everybody on the ship, do you want to go to Yokosuka? Obviously, naturally, those who didn't want to go, like myself, were like, no, I don't want to go. Because I had my ex, I had met her in the Navy. She was waiting in San Diego, and I was like, I didn't get married to her yet, but she was waiting. So I was like, nah, because I was thinking about her and stuff like that, you know, family, so on and so forth, starting a family. But anyway, I went there. I had a great time in Yokosuka, met with some buddies. We went out to Tokyo. That was a night I will never forget. And Tokyo is like Las Vegas. There's lots of lights. And them clubs, if you ever go to Tokyo, wow. The clubs just, you know, back in the day, I don't club anymore, obviously, no more, because I'm married, and plus it's for younger folks. But stay away from clubs if you can, because some of it's really, a lot of stuff that goes down in clubs are not good things. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all those things. Those clubs, they close at like 6, 7 a.m. So you're partying all night, all into the morning, and you're like exhausted. What time is it? Oh, 7 a.m.? Wow. Anyway, whatever. So I won't ever forget that. But Yokosuka was lots of fun. It was a huge base. It was beautiful. And really cool stuff going on there. I remember the movie theater, those free movies on base. If you're on the bases, I believe they still give free movies. Not during now because of COVID-19 lockdown. But once all this crap with COVID passes, hopefully they'll open up these movie theaters again. And on base too, so y'all in the military or thinking about joining the military can get a chance to go see some really good movies for free. Good stuff. And biking around Yokosuka, that was pretty good. I remember I went with my friend Terry. We biked around the town and stuff like that. But be warned. If you're going to try to go to a bar and you're in a foreign country, especially in the military, I'm going to give you a warning. Some people don't like Americans. That's just the way it is. Don't even try to force culture to like you, because that's one way to get beat up. So we go walking around, you know, back in the day, and it's like, oh, no Americans here. Like, what? No Americans here. No Americans, or Americans go away, whatever it is. So, like, what? What the heck is that about? That's just the way it is. You're just going to have to learn to accept other cultures. Who they are for, who they're not for, but a lot of people are very friendly. Japanese culture is one of the friendliest cultures I have ever met. And a lot of them also speak English as well, which is just great. So you can have conversations if you meet a local, if they're willing, if they're not shy enough, if they're willing to talk to you. Learn the cultures. When you go out to, like, for example, if you're going to join the Navy and you're on Westpac or I don't know what they call it on the East Coast, but in the West Coast Navy, they called it the Westpac. So we go out for a 6-month cruise. You know, I think they're like 8 months now or something. I don't know what Navy does anymore. But a lot of my friends were like, oh, we're going to go to the bar, you know, and go drinking or whatever. No, 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 no. Do not waste your time going to bars and drinking and being stupid when you get off the ship. I know a lot of guys crave alcohol, and so do ladies as well. When you go to different parts of different countries, don't waste your freaking time. My suggestion is, if you want to have a beer, fine, have a beer if you're legal enough to drink. Okay, you got to be legal. In some countries, it's got to be 21 and up still, I think, in some countries. But my suggestion is you find the tours that the Navy is offering. Like the Navy will say, okay, we're recommending these tours because these tours are safe or whatever, so on and so forth. So you go on those tours with your friends. Round up a couple of them. I remember, you know, I mean, they might even have, like, if you wanted to drink, a wine tour or something. So just really cool. You know, I remember we went to Australia and there was a wine tour. That was fun. You know, and then we got to check out Australian culture as well, going here, going there, so on and so forth. But just be careful. Be careful with those drinks, boys and girls, because you get in a lot of trouble when you got alcohol in your system, especially when you're young. You're not making 100% logical decisions like when you're older, and even when we get older, we're not making 100% logical decisions either. But there's a lot of emotion in your 20s where you have to be very careful to get that under control, because if you get that out of control, it could equivalent to jail time, and no one wants to be there, right? Especially in a foreign country. That could be no fun. I know some of my friends that had gotten locked up down in freaking Tijuana jail back in the day, and then they got out. That's like, they told me that's not fun. Like, yeah, I believe it. No crap, right? Anyway, alrighty. So I hope you learned something about the military here. I got some other military stories as you get these into these videos. If you want to subscribe to my channel and smash that like button right now, I appreciate that. Smash it, or I'm not going to say anymore. All right, you got me. I'm going to say more. Anyway, smash that like button, subscribe. I'm going to have more stories for you about life, more advice, what to do. Maybe I'll talk about 30s and 40s. Can't go beyond 40s because I'm not in my 50s yet. But I'll be there soon enough. Anyway, God bless you. This is Jay. God loves you. Keep it real. Keep the faith. Everything's going to be all right. Peace.